Hello, Gobsmackers. Welcome to the third installment of the Secret Diaries, where we do our best to share the most effective strategies and practices to grow your business through Google+, all based on the very sound principles of join, share, engage. Hi, I'm Christine Sutherland, the CEO of the LifeWorks Group, incorporating speed business networking, and the author of the book Take Your Team to the Top. I'm here with Gobsmacked Queen Renee Das, CEO of the globally successful Pakra Games, providing innovative game-based learning to all levels of staff from the call room to the boardroom. Renee, wonderful to share this today. I know I'm going to learn a lot because you've been travelling at the speed of sound with this material. Can't wait to hear it.
It's lovely to see you again, and I hope our Gobsmacked community really engages in this, because I think there's a lot of potential and the right way to connect with people. So this will be fun.
Absolutely.
So just to kind of lay out the agenda, what I was kind of thinking of doing was what we want to show, the last time we talked about it, is we talked about how to target, right? So figuring out what the what is, and then figuring out the who. So today we're going to talk about figuring out the who. And in there, one of the things that I do want to show as to what, as examples of how we went about, meaning both our company page and myself, and also our team profiles, how they go about doing things. And I think that might be very helpful for people to kind of see how to get started, if you will.
That's right, real life examples. I think that's what everybody wants to see.
Exactly. So I don't know if you had a chance to share your screen. Okay. So let me share my screen here. Okay. Get out of here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see Pakra Games right there.
Awesome. So on the question of the what, we sell mostly to anybody working with customers. So it could be sales, it could be customer service, and as you said, managers and all those things. So when we came into Google+, we decided these topics are going to be the topics that, that is what we sell, and that is what we, help people with. We care about the end customer, we care about behaviors, we care about learning. So we kind of did the sort of our hashtags of interest. So once we have figured it out, how do you go about, actually finding people? So let me go here, what I call as smart circles. So we will go through an entire list, which might be on your screen, of different things that we are going to do as best practices. One of the things that I do want to mention is this University of Milan study, and in that study that was done in 2011, and we will post the link on the website, on the YouTube site for everybody who's viewing. They came up with this magic number. You always hear about 6 degrees of separation, and they came up with a number. It really is 4.74 degrees of separation. However, they did that study based on LinkedIn and Facebook connections, which is bi-directional in the sense you friend somebody and it's automatically they're friending you back. And in the case of LinkedIn, you connect with somebody, they're automatically connecting you back. Here, it's really the entire Google Plus population, or anybody who's working with Google products will have a Google account, and automatically they will have, you have access to them. And so, because it's unidirectional, so just because I circle you, Christine, doesn't mean, Christine, you're circling me back,
Exactly.
But, that's going to be the fourth video we are going to talk about, is how do we engage people. but right now
Yes.
is how to find people. So the first thing on the smart circle, I would just suggest people to kind of think about is people that you would know, right? So
Yes. Yes.
for example, I know Christine's Sutherland from somewhere else, and I can let's say I don't exactly know her name. I mean, obviously you're showing up here because you're already a connection of mine, but
Yes.
I can search by full name. I can also search by um, basically a place. So I can put in here Christine Perth, Australia,
Hmm.
right? And
Yes.
actually, all these names, whoever is Christine in Australia, shows up here. So
Right.
you can do some locational searching related to that or work related searching. So anything that people put on the about page, you can kind of get to it in a very easy way to find out, what they're doing, right?
Hmm. Right.
The thing that does not work is, for example, an email address. That is something that it's not searchable
Mm.
unless that is something that they have plugged in, not on the email format but on their tagline or something, right?
Uh-huh.
Then
Yes.
the search won't know that it's not an email. They'll just treat it as a text. But
Yes.
aside from that, you can search by different ways, people that you know. All right.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think when
Yeah.
people are starting out, that would be the first thing they should try is
Yeah. Yeah.
some of the people that they know, they should definitely connect. The other
Exactly.
great thing about Google is if you're using their Gmail for either business or personal, all your contacts, if they have a Gmail address or if they have a Google account, automatically it is populated, so they are going to pop up right at the
Yes. Yes.
top. And in fact, there are ways for Google Plus to notify you if somebody joins Gmail. They'll take another email address and populate that piece of it. So
Mm.
it's fairly easy to find, people that you know
That
in
you
here.
already know. Mm. Mm.
However, they might not be active. So one of the most important principles about circling people, always, always, always look how frequently they're posting and look, what is on their about page.
Mm.
Any source you get the information about them, always do that. Um, People don't realize that some of the posts that they do are not private posts. So
Mm.
there's a lot of garbage in there. There are a lot of
Yes.
fake profiles in there. There are a lot of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The, uh,
Sure.
the other thing is also from a paid standpoint, I can type in here, parkergames.com, and anybody who has ever listed, wherever that website is, all the people associated with that website is going to pop up.
Right.
So as far as the searching and all those kinds of things, it's very easy to
Mm.
find
Mm.
people that you know. So
Yeah. Very powerful.
that's the first step. The other thing that I do, and I'm going to just kind of show you this here. Um, so for example, I circled you, right? And I kind of shamelessly look at who have you in their circle. So
Yes.
I usually go in there because if you and I share some common interests, it's very likely you're friends with people who are or connected with
Exactly.
people who are common. So I will go out here and see oh gosh this guy person at least let's see I'll do the hover thing here. Oh, this
Yeah.
might
Yeah.
be an interesting profile, so I'll click on the profile, look at their about page, look at their post, and see if is somebody I
Mm.
would like to add, right?
Yes. Yes. So
So
you're vetting them. You're vetting them
absolutely
as you go. Mm.
right. And so this is something that I do with anybody I connect. Once in a while, I've made it a goal to sort of circle in about per week about 10 to 15 people on my personal profile, and then
Sure.
for the Parker, our company page, we circle in a lot more than that.
Yes.
And I'll talk about the daily limits that are associated with it.
Sure.
The next thing that I wanted to show you is looking at posts. So, for example, this is our page post, right?
Yes.
So since we get automatic notifications, I mean, it's much easier if you have a Gmail account because it just pops up right there on your email, so, and gives you
Yes.
the
Yes.
option to add them. But I can just click on these names, right? It
Yeah.
automatically tells me who had plus and interacted with a post of our company, or personally, on my page.
Yes.
And then I will, by using their hovering, I can
Mm.
actually see who they are and if I want to add them back,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So you use your own independent posts, and there's a lot of the times you'll find a lot of spammers there, and a lot of, I call them like creepy people.
Yeah.
That,
Unfortunately.
and and
Unfortunately.
and I mean, it's not quite sure why they plussed it or anything like that. So it's not, again, it's the what, right? So if I've
Yes.
decided that, this person has, I'm not going to, add them back just because they, in a very gratuitous manner, but I'll just at least acknowledge their existence if I need to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We've got to be strategic
Right,
at
absolutely.
all times. Yes.
And I know that there are a lot of bots out there and a lot of things out there that are adding
Yeah.
connections and all those kinds of things. But I'm not
Yeah.
sure why people need 25,000. I mean, Google only allows you for 5,000 followers, but why do you need that many people that you want to connect with? Because that
Mm,
means
mm,
all
mm.
their information is coming on your stream, and you cannot possibly read
Yes.
that, right?
There's no way, no.
Right.
And of course, it means, in fact, that your strategies aren't effective if you need to have that many people in your networks in
Right.
order to get any kind of ROI. You really need to have another look at your strategies.
Absolutely. Exactly. Exactly. So your own, pages and profiles and own communities, you look at, those and see how people are engaging, as a courtesy, try to add them back, but, just be aware that some of those things might not happen. The
Yeah.
next one that I want to show you is things, people you have already circled or pages you have already circled,
Mm.
and there's a topic that, interests you.
Yeah.
I mean, Thanksgiving is, I mean, we do something for fun. Fun is a topic for us.
Yes.
So PBS, which is public broadcasting, right?
Mm.
They did a post about Julia Child. So
Mm.
I'm guessing the people who plussed it or shared it shares some interest in Julia Child and me, right?
Yes.
I do love her, and so I find her absolutely thrilling.
Yes.
To watch her, it's just, loads of fun. So I can, click in here, and now I've got all these people that has some kind of a common interest with me, right? And so
Yes.
I can kind of go in there and, let's say I want to click on this person's name or this person, and, kind of go back and see who they are if I want to connect with
Yeah.
them,
So
right?
how did you click to get that list again, Rini? What did you do to get
Oh,
that
okay,
list?
sorry. Let me go back here. All you have to do is on the bottom of the post, you see these little icons of people.
Yes. Yes.
Just click on it,
Oh,
and it gives
I
you this
see.
whole list, right?
Thank you for that, because I'd presumed it would just bring up that person, and in fact, it brings up the whole list. That's fantastic.
Right. And then there's a circling arrow here, which means you return to the post by clicking it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Lovely.
now
Lovely.
here, there is something else I want to show you because this absolutely fascinates me, especially for very popular posts.
Yes.
There, you saw the little drop down, and you have
Yes.
these things, right?
Yes.
There's something
Yes.
called View Ripples.
Oh, yes.
And if you click on it, it kind of tells you who the influencers, the big influencers of the post is, which means these people have shared it, right? They don't show
Ah.
private shares, but they show the public
No.
shares. So these people are
Right.
influencing all the 73 other people. So,
My goodness. So they are the circles of influence right
correct,
there on
right
G
there.
Plus.
And
Wow.
and so, if I were, instead of going through 73, maybe I should connect with them because
Yeah.
then I can go back, as I said, like your I can look at their circles and see, what they are doing. So you can, play around with this, but again, it has to be a topic of interest to your business or individually to you.
That's right. Not just for the sake of doing it, but because it's strategic.
Correct.
Renee, this is pure gold.
I
Pure
know.
gold.
I know. I mean, if you do it right, it's a little bit time consuming. So you have to give a dedicated time, like, I would say 20 minutes to half an hour when you're starting off, 20 minutes to half an hour a day. Because I sincerely recommend everybody should look at somebody's profile and posts to see, if they're legit.
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
The next one I want to show is leveraging communities. So all the different communities. So of course, we go to our Gobsmacked community. One way to find people is, I have joined a community called Gobsmacked, and I want to see who all their members are. And on that see all, I see all these people here.
Yeah.
And I can decide.
Well, aren't we?
and we can say, oh, you know what? I do want to, touch. I kind of like this. God, he's in film. Maybe, we create video games. Maybe I should be interested in Reg.
Yeah.
So, I'll
put in a good word for you, Renee. I do have a drink with him from time to time.
All right, excellent. Say hi to him. But, you see what I'm saying? So with the communities, of course, the communities that have 3,000, this becomes very time-consuming to filter through. But there, what you can do is actually quite simple. You can actually engage in their posts. And again, you can look at a post and see who has plussed it. And based on that, you can kind of get, who all you want to interact with and all those kinds of things.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolute sense.
Okay.
Yes.
There's one more thing that I think is critical and probably the best. It's even with the Facebook's, I forget what they call it, their search algorithm. LinkedIn has pretty much, nothing these days as far as, searching goes. But the entire Google semantic search is in Google Plus, right? You can search. I mean, that is what I have done over the months, and our team does it, and our pages, we do it for the page. So, for example, we serve, but you have to know how to search, right?
Yes, that's right.
Right. So, one of the things that we, work with are customer service people. So, one of the common frustrations of people, they use the hashtag fail, right? This strategy has always worked for us when we were trying to find people who are very frustrated with a particular company. And if in Twitter, because the hashtag fail is a very common way of expressing frustration there. And then, what we have done in Twitter is we would take the companies that had high number of hashtag fails, we would target them as, they need help, right?
Yes.
So, but if I do hashtag fail here, this is what will happen. They give you every, people and pages that has that word, communities, but more importantly, all the Google posts, right? So it picks up all the words that use that word. You can do best of, or you can do most recent.
Yes.
And you can look, but you see, I mean, it's mostly like fun stuff. So it really does not get the customer service, pieces here, right? So what I can do is I can do hashtag fail, serve, okay, which is a hashtag that is used all the time.
Oh, yes.
This now, you can see, is exactly what I'm getting.
Right.
Right?
And so you only put that hashtag once at the beginning of the search string.
Right. But you can put hashtag serve if you want. You can do customer service if you want,
Okay.
But I think now all the, like here, this guy is, talking about Verizon, which is a telecom company. So I can either choose to, look up his profile and see what he has to say, or you know, we can do all kinds of different things with it, right? This guy is, complaining about Comcast. Either we contact, we look at what Comcast is doing. There are different ways to kind of bring it up.
Yeah,
Any kind of
yeah,
public share will show up in this, on this,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Any kind of public communities you have actually shared, like Gobsmacked, it will show up here. But it gives me different names, people, as far as, how they're doing. So,
Yeah.
and this is the way I also get good posts that, we're going to talk about in video 4 that we reshare. So it's
Yeah,
not
sure.
only just getting people and all those things.
And potential customers for your
Correct, correct,
game-based learning.
correct,
My
correct.
goodness. Yeah.
The last thing, and people are doing that, and we will look at it here. There is a culture in Google Plus called sharing circles. Um, and it's usually used with hashtag circle share, so you can search people after you've created your circle. By the way, I do need to explain what a circle is. Once you have added somebody, you create groups and you put them in different groups, and Google calls it a circle.
Circle.
Here, Martin Sherrington, who is pretty much Mr. Google Plus, he is sharing his circle. He has created people who were new engagers for end of November, as he puts it, and he's sharing it, which means I can click on this add people, and his whole entire list comes up for that group or circle, and then I can make a decision whether I want to go in there. So people do this for fun. They do, for our learning space from time to time, I'll see things like games-based learning circle. So somebody has, created this whole circle of connections and they're sharing it publicly.
Which is a very generous thing to do.
Correct.
As
but
well as being good networking.
Well, exactly, because then somebody else picks it up and they share theirs. We have the other thing.
Rini,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have to jump in and say,
Yeah.
this is actually what the internet marketers would call list building on steroids.
True, true. And the last thing I want, absolutely, the last piece I would like to say about sharing circles, which is very important, again, for people who are using Gmail for business. The page contacts are your circles. So like the Parker Games page, people who have circled us, or we have circled them, those contacts will not automatically transfer to business, email account. For me, like if I want to use Parker's account, the people who have circled, they won't, but I can share Parker's circles with me.
Yes, yes.
And then automatically all that information goes into my contacts, Google Contacts.
Right, right.
So, these are different, uses of sharing circle, but it's a great tool to also know who is talking where and who do I need to connect with. And it's not only individuals, it's companies, right?
Yes.
I mean, I've got some great, posts from lots of companies recently. We won American Express as a client, we promote them. So, all of these kinds of things come up, and you can get, these are different ways you can actually get to finding people.
Sure, sure. And once you've shared that circle to yourself and they come up in your Gmail contacts,
correct, exactly.
You can then email those people with ease, can't you?
If they share the email address, yes. The great thing about Google Plus is if they don't share their email address and they're on your circle, you can just do plus, that person. Google will send that information to them.
Yeah.
So like a post or something like that, you don't need their email address to send it to them.
In order to communicate.
Right.
It's
right.
Absolutely brilliant. But there's only so much you can do in a day, isn't there? Is it too soon to ask that question? Regarding the limit, because I know I have hit a limit, so
right. And
but I don't want to rush you toward that one.
Right. And so one of the things that I did find out, well, with a little bit of a shock, they do have a limit of 5,000 total, people that you can circle.
Yes.
Um, but they also, as you mentioned, they have a daily limit, and nobody really knows how the daily limit works. We have seen that the place where the daily limit really came into being was I was moving some contacts from one account to another account by sharing.
Yes.
And then I got rid of those contacts because I was getting so much, stream posts that
Mm.
it was, I mean, I just cannot handle, more than 200 people, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so after I removed it, somehow something triggered something, and I was hit with the daily limit for almost a month. Like the numbers, kept on being like you could only do two or three. Um,
Oh.
and now it has picked up, like you can do 10. So they have some kind of an algorithm which tells you, 10, 20, 30, or something like that you can do. Personal, individual profiles, you have a much bigger uh,
Mm.
limit. Uh,
Sure.
Business pages has a lower limit daily as
Mm.
far as how
Right.
many you can do.
Yeah. Okay. So, what about the concept of rearranging the circles? Because sometimes we don't necessarily set them up properly as far as strategy is concerned, and we
Correct.
need to recategorize or resort
Absolutely.
who we've got in what group of circles.
Correct. And I think that is a recommendation that, most people, most of these Google Plus gurus have for you. Um, Also, you can assign somebody in different circles
Mm.
because you share a common interest. Like, for example, you and I share common interest of helping people who are doing sales, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
if we are doing any sales post, I'll probably, I will definitely include you in some way or the other. Um, but you might not be interested in these, great war video games that our IT team really likes, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so
Right.
if there's a post about that, then it won't go to you. We have different circles. We actually have a geek circle, or
Yeah.
the group is called Geeks, Game
Okay.
Geeks, and so we'll send it to them.
Yeah.
So you can rearrange these circles from time to time. Also, the great thing is that it's very easy. So, for example, I'll just show this very quickly. If I go to people here, um, here are my circles right here. I can,
Yeah.
I do have a circle called blowhards. Uh, so
As long as I'm not on that one.
you're not on that one. So for example, let's click on the customers here. We can, decide, okay, this particular company, I want to just, put it in here. All I have to do is drag it. So it's very easy to rearrange it, but
Ah, gotcha.
you should look into your, different, circles from time to time, because sometimes,
Mm.
like
Mm.
I know that I have to sort this one out, the blogger one, because it's had
Yeah.
150 people, and it's
Yeah.
very hard for me. Whenever I cannot think of anything and they block something, I just throw them in there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. But
so
you can't communicate. Can you communicate with 150 people? You know how you do your private shares? There is a
right.
limit to how many people you can privately share to at one time. And if your circle is too big, you cannot privately share to that whole circle, that you'll be prevented.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have done that. Like I can put in here blogger and it will pick them up and then do my
Okay.
post.
Okay. Well, I've got a circle that has about 400 or 500 in it,
Okay. See,
and
okay.
it's yeah, and Google will not do a share to that group, so I now have to break that up into
Okay.
smaller groups.
That's a very good advice because I think all our this largest one I think across all our pages and everything we have is probably
Mm.
200. So I haven't hit that, had that
Yeah.
experience yet.
That
But
magic
and
number.
right. But I also think I think they're trying to prevent spam, so
Yeah.
so that it doesn't go out to that many people. But I think
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
it is helpful if you do it, smaller groups just to manage it.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this is part of why you're really recommending that we don't circle until we check out the person and through their posts
Correct.
and through their about page.
Right.
Yeah.
And as I said, people don't realize a lot of people who started at Google Plus and were using a Gmail address for personal use, they don't
Mm,
realize that their personal photos are now public, and
yeah.
because they didn't change their settings. And so
Yeah.
I distinctly remember this guy who had this excellent post about how the brain adaptive learning, and he's some professor, and
Yes,
and
I'm
I
laughing
luckily
because
I luckily went and looked at his post, and there was a picture of his, penis out there, and I'm like
yeah.
going, "Whoa,
Yep.
Nelly."
Yes, it pays to learn about public versus private.
Correct. And I think,
Oh, why would he do that for private in any case? But never mind, because once it's there, even privately, it still can be shared. So
right, right.
you know,
That's a whole different thing, but
a whole different
but
thing.
needless to say, we did not add that person, nor did we reshare the post.
No, because he's a bit of a loose cannon, that one.
That's right.
Yeah, so not image and all of that.
Exactly.
So also there are implications to search, aren't there, Rini? Can you say a little bit about the public versus private posts
Right.
and the implications for search?
Um, Google considers if you're posting, once you've created a circle. So, for example, let's see here. I want to post something here, right? If I use the word public here, even though I have
Mm,
some groups here,
yes,
then anything in that post is public.
right.
If I instead, for example, I just do it as professional, this is
Mm-hmm.
one of my circles here,
Yes.
then it is not considered as public.
Mm-hmm.
Any private groups that communities you have shared with, it
Mm-hmm.
will never show up in search. Um,
Ah, right, right. So
and
you're
and
reducing your chances of being found the
correct, but
moment you.
sometimes you do have to keep it as a private conversation.
Sure.
And the other thing that also is, like if I, for example, from our Pucker page, I send you something, and I just
Yes.
use your name, it
Yes.
basically treats it like an email. So it's not searchable, only you will get it. Even if you plus it, it doesn't mean anything because
Right. Right. It's
it's just
protected.
between you and Pucker Games at that point.
Yeah. 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 That's a nice feature. That's a very nice feature.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
not all conversations have to be public, right?
No. No.
Right.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
so
Oh,
this,
Rennie,
I hope this is helpful to people.
it's been helpful to me. I can tell you that was absolutely pure gold. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Rennie. And we've got more coming, haven't we, in our next
Yes.
video?
Next video, we're going to talk about you're going to talk more about how to create a sense of community, what
Mm,
not to do and
yeah.
what to do.
Yeah, that's right.
What
How
works,
to.
how to engage people.
That's it. Yes, it's because it's all about engagement. Because the sooner we can take these relationships offline, the better. So
Right.
we need to engage strongly and effectively online before we can take that next step. Otherwise, well, strangers don't generally like to chat with us, but friends and fellow networkers do enjoy having a chat with us. So online engagement is incredibly important, and that's the next video. Can't wait.
This will be
Rini,
fun.
thank you. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.